Yo, 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 yo. How's everyone feeling today? How's everyone doing? Hmm, hmm. What's up, guys? Who has some travel questions? Who has some TQs, some travel questions? That's the abbrev for travel questions. Um, Let me see. Anyone have any questions or not? Do you want me to just kind of riff a little bit? I can riff. So me and my wife, I think we're gonna be moving to Patagonia. Like that looks like what's gonna happen. Um the two of us, like I'm kind of in a place right now where like I think that we're gonna like settle down and like, we're planning on having kids, probably not gonna be able to travel around as much. Like if we were only planning on having like three kids, traveling would still be very possible, but we're hoping to have six. And with six kids, traveling basically becomes impossible, especially because the two of us don't like we don't want to be wealthy. The two of us kind of think that being wealthy is evil. And so, if you're not gonna be rich, it's kind of difficult to be able to travel with six kids. So um we're just gonna post up in one place. And so at the top of our list for a long time has been um Cordoba, Argentina, for a whole host of reasons. But we've been looking, we're planning on doing a 2-week trip through through Patagonia. And now we're thinking, we're like, hey, what if we just live in Patagonia? Like, why do we have to visit Patagonia? Why can't we just live here? So we're thinking about maybe like moving to like, I think like El Calatafe is kind of at the top of our list right now. You know, we want to go somewhere that's still kind of a city. Um, if she was able to go to Chile easily, we would choose Punta Arenas, but she can't, so that kind of puts Punta Arenas out of the window. Yeah, Bariloche is an option. The problem with Bariloche is that Bariloche is kind of like, I don't know, the best way to think about Bariloche is like if you go to upstate New York and you go to Lake Placid, it's like, yeah, Lake Placid's great. Yeah, Whiteface Mountain's great. I grew up skiing on Whiteface Mountain, so I'm not shit talking Whiteface Mountain at all. I'm just saying you're paying a premium to go to Lake Placid versus the 15 other mountains nearby that are one half the price, right? And that's kind of the same thing with Bariloche. Bariloche is such like a tourist magnet and such like a location that you pay a pretty big premium to be in Bariloche versus all of the other places that you can be in. And another issue with Bariloche, like for me, is that like Bariloche is kind of at like the north end of Patagonia. You know what I mean? Like it's not, you're kind of dipping your toe in Patagonia at Bariloche. Like, and Bariloche is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Like, some of the places in Bariloche are just like mouth-wateringly gorgeous, but it's not, it's not like El Calatafe. You know what I mean? Ever been to Israel? No, I've never been to Israel. Have you been to Israel? Do you want to go to Israel? Or a prompt to that question? Um, no one's joining today. No questions. Okay. I guess I'm going to wait for a little bit in case somebody might be interested, someone will ask a question, someone wants to have a conversation. What do I do for work? I used to be a remote sales rep, and then I quit that, and now I just do content full time. So, yeah, dude, go ahead. What's your question, Dave Deals? Um, so yeah, I think being a remote sales rep is kind of like the best job if you want to if you want to be like a world traveler, if you want to be digital nomad, that's kind of the best one. But um, you know, so is that a no on the Chinese baddie situation? I don't know, dude. I I haven't really like spent a lot of time in China picking up baddies. Would you like to live in Colombia or Brazil? What's a better place to live? Um, I don't know, man. It's kind of like it's kind of hard to like, you know, it's kind of hard to compare the two. You know what I mean? Like they're very different, right? So how does let me ask this, like what are you looking for? Because I remember you asked me this live yesterday and we had like 60 people, so I wasn't able to answer. So like what are you looking for in where you want to live? Like what are kind of the top things that you're looking for? And I can tell you if Colombia or Brazil fulfill those. Have I ever been to northern Spain or southern France? That's on my bucket list. I haven't been there. I've only been to Madrid and Paris. I really want to go to Andorra, which is like literally like in the middle of those two. So if I ever do go to Andorra, I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it is. Yeah, Israel is very Western society. It also depends on where you go. Um, mm, in Israel. Yeah, let me know when you complete it. Okay, we really don't have a lot of people there. I've traveled around the Spanish Caribbean only or flying to Belém to travel. Yeah, I mean, dude, I can do this rant. I've done this rant so many times that's kind of getting tiresome for me. But like, I don't understand why you're going to Belém. That makes no sense to me, right? Like, always think about it this way, right? Let's say you were talking to somebody from Germany, right? And they were like, "Hey, man, I'm coming to the United States," and you're like, "Awesome, man! You know, first time in the United States, probably only time coming to the United States. Where you're planning on going?" And he's like, "Kansas City," and you're like, "Kansas City?" And it's like, "Yeah, dude, I don't know, Kansas City just seems like such a cool place," and you're like, "Bro, but like, why not LA? Why not Miami? Why not New York City? Why not like the 3 big cities that people go to when they visit the United States?" And it's just like, "Oh, yeah, man, but like everyone goes to LA and New York and Miami or San Francisco. I don't really want to go to the place that everyone goes to. I want to go to a place no one goes to. I want to go to Louisville, Kentucky." And you're like, "Yeah, I mean, I guess like Louisville, sorry, I forgot how to say it correctly. Louisville, Kentucky is a perfectly fine place, but like it's weird that you're going to Louisville, Kentucky as your first place in the United States and not like New York or not LA. Even people from Louisville would call that weird. You know what I mean? So, I it's the same thing about going to Belém as your first place in Brazil. Like, anyway, um, let's see. I want a place where it's nice and safe and my USD can go far. What do you mean, like, nice and safe? Like, do you want a mountain? Do you want a beach? Okay, man. How about this? I'm just gonna. You're being so vague. I'm just gonna say Brazil, bro. Just go to Brazil. Um. Oh, okay, going to the dunes, then traveling down south towards Rio. That's fine. Um. I'm going to Argentina around May, but never solo travel. How do you overcome the loneliness? I mean, to be honest, I mean, like, I think that's a fair question, right? Like, especially like if you travel by yourself for a long period of time, like there are periods where where you get lonely, but as E to the K BKK said, like the most important thing when you travel, man, is to just use your loneliness as a way to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, right? I've noticed this a lot when people travel is that you'll travel with a group of 2 or 3 people, and then you never end up actually engaging with a local place. This kind of happens with me and my wife now. I travel with my wife now, and, like, yeah, I mean, I have a great time, right? I'm never lonely, but I don't really interact with the places like I did when I was a solo traveler. Because when you're a solo traveler, you're just sitting by yourself in your apartment and you're kind of bored. You're like, okay, let me go outside. And you're like, well, I could walk around this city like a weirdo by myself, or I can, talk to some people, right? And then like you kind of force yourself to go talk to some people. You force yourself to interact with other people. When I was in Costa Rica, I was with my buddy who didn't want to talk to anybody for some reason. And so because of that, him and I were just like hanging out alone in Costa Rica for a week, which got a little weird. And then he decided that he needed to leave. And the second that he left, I started traveling by myself. And I was like, I went out to a hostel. I met some people. I had a good time. I made a huge network of friends. Like I had a blast. Like my first week with my buddy sucked. My second week by myself was fucking awesome. So you need to view that loneliness that you get, which again is completely defensible to get it, in my opinion. But you need to view that loneliness as something to push you outside of your comfort zone, right? You need to view that loneliness as the motivation to go outside and to like meet other people and do other things. Um, Looking to my first solo traveling this year. Just moved from Baltimore to LA. That's awesome, dude. Where are you thinking about going? Best country other than Argentina or Brazil to find white Latinas. Is this live getting like what's happening with this live right now? They only have 8 people viewing it after 15 minutes. That's weird, right? Anyway, best place to find white Latinas besides Argentina and Brazil is what's it gonna call? Chile and Paraguay and Uruguay. When I go to East Europe, I usually meet girls by the uni or the mall. Is this similar to Latam? Yeah, dude. Meet girls in the by university, by the mall. I think it's always nice to if you want to meet like travelers, always go to hostels to meet people. Obviously, you can meet girls on Tinder and stuff, and you can always talk to girls at bars. Yo, so I think there's a weird throttling that's happening with this live. So on the TikTok live, I'm about to jump off and jump back in. So I'm gonna end this live and then start up again. I think something weird is happening. So jump back in a second, guys. Anyway, yeah, dude, definitely. So been to DR, Costa Rica, Bahamas, Jamaica, and Cancun. Okay, so a bunch of like Central America. So, in terms of places that I'll go next, like I think the biggest place that people should visit, I think the biggest. So Um, I'm happy that like I'm getting more action here on Twitch and more interesting questions on Twitch than I am on TikTok. So I think there are four cities that every single person should visit once in their life. The first city is New York. Second one is Rio. The third one is Paris, and the fourth one is Tokyo. So if you've already been all throughout Central America, I think that I think Tokyo. No, sorry, I think Rio could be your next big trip. How District 9 Music, how long are you planning on going on your solo trip? Is it just like a week? Is it a day? Like what does the time frame kind of look like for you? Yo, Joe just bought his ticket to the group trip. Yo, Joe, I actually got a great surprise for you. So we booked a private trip literally at the same time as the group trip. And these guys are rambunctious. These guys are rambunctious. And I think there's gonna be a little bit of crossover between your two trips. So if these guys were with you for the whole trip, you guys would get a heart attack. But I think that like being with them for like a couple days, like just being with them for a couple days, I think that you guys are gonna have like a really good time. Like they're gonna come in and out a little bit, and you guys are gonna really enjoy hanging out with them. Best Southeast Asian country for the first time to Asia. Vietnam. Vietnam is my answer for is my like I should I was planning on making this video today. I just never got around to it. I'm gonna make this video when I hop off here. So my number one travel location when it comes to Southeast Asia is Vietnam, right? Pretty much any question you ask me about Southeast Asia, the answer is going to be Vietnam. Um, that being said, I think that Kuala Lumpur can be good for some things, but overall, Vietnam is kind of my number one right now in Southeast Asia. My Southeast Asia rankings. Let's do that. Southeast Asia travel rankings. I can clip this. Um, if you're planning on going to Southeast Asia right now in 2026 and you don't know where you want to go, here is my rankings of countries by where you should go by how much you should go to them in Southeast Asia, right? So number 1 is Vietnam, number 2 is Malaysia, number 3 is Bali, Indonesia. I don't really know about the rest of Indonesia. I haven't gone there. I'm just talking about Bali. Number 4, if you have the money for it, I would say Singapore is number 4. I would just do like at least 2 or 3 days just to, like enjoy it and then like go to somewhere else in case you don't have the money. Number 5 is Cambodia. Number 6 is Thailand. Number 7 is Philippines. And number 8 is Laos. That's my Southeast Asia ranking right now for where you should go to. Um, Cam Thailand is so low because it's just been so overrun with tourists at this point. Even a lot of people, Thailand has kind of gone to the place in Medellin where like even people who live in Thailand will tell you don't go to Thailand because I'm sick of all these people, in Thailand. So don't go to Thailand or like at least put Thailand. Don't make Thailand number one because like Thailand has gotten to a point where it's just like you kind of want to make fun of people who go to Thailand at this point. It's gotten corny to go to Thailand at this point. Depending on budget, a week minimum. I don't know. Longest trip was a week. Yeah, dude, a week in Rio de Janeiro is like a perfect time. Um, District 9 Music. What I recommend doing is go to my YouTube. I don't really have it like here. I'll put my name here. So just YouTube Passport Paulie. Just search that on YouTube. And I have a video of Rio de Janeiro, and it's literally like what like I basically do a week-long itinerary for you if you're going to Rio de Janeiro. Basically, if you're going to Rio de Janeiro for a week, here's what you should do, you know, Saturday through Friday. So check that out. I think you'll like it. Um, let me see. Is Southeast Asia safer than Latin America? 100%. 100%. Asking me is Southeast Asia safer than Latin America is like asking me like which pet is safer for me to get, a poodle or a cobra. It's like such a huge difference between the two that like yeah, yeah. Southeast Asia is one of the is Southeast Asia is the safest place on planet Earth, and Latin America might not be the most dangerous place on planet Earth, but some parts of it can be up there. South Korea. Well, South Korea, I don't consider part of Southeast Asia, right? I consider that East Asia, but I like East Asia a lot. I worked in Singapore for a week, and the only cool people in the office were Malaysian, English, and Indian. Well, I mean, all of so like Singapore is Malay, English, Indian, and Chinese. So basically, you're just saying you don't like Chinese people, Brad. Do you recommend taking a tour in the favelas in Rio? Yeah, dude. I mean, here's the thing, right? The tours in the favelas of Rio aren't like really tours of the favelas. You know what I mean? They're not really like the favela tours. So you're fine. You know, it's like like there are people from the favelas who have told all of the gangsters in the favelas, like, look, we're gonna do this so that I can make some money off of it, and you're safe. Don't worry about it at all. Singapore workaholics. Yeah, dude, that is true. Um, but hey, I mean, they are a very rich country, so you can't get that mad at them. I don't really know that much about Mexico, to be honest. Like, I really want to spend more time in Mexico to get better answers about it. I might soon because like me and my wife are thinking about moving to Patagonia. We're probably I'm probably gonna be like a Patagonia expert soon, like who just kind of answers general travel questions. But you know, yeah. I mean, I like Singapore a lot. I've only spent like 3 days in Singapore. I think it's an incredible city. Being in Singapore makes me so mad at the United States. I posted a rant about this yesterday, so I'm not gonna do the whole thing, but like you just walk around and you're like, wow, imagine what our country could have looked like if we didn't spend tens of trillions of dollars on wars and public assistance that got stolen. You know what I mean? We actually spent it on stuff to like make life better for Americans. Like imagine how incredible our country could look right now. Um, but Singapore did, and fair play. Any advice on Italy? My number one piece of advice when it comes to Western Europe in general, and I'm very harsh on Western Europe, just because like it's hard to really communicate nuance on TikTok. You know what I mean? I kind of have to give 120% of the truth. You know what I mean? And like by that I mean lie a little bit, right? But like the number one piece of advice I give about Western Europe is spend as little time as possible in the cities, right? So at least for now, who knows what Europe is gonna look like in 20 years. But like if you once you leave the big cities, most of Western Europe starts to get a lot better. And the reason is because the reason why Western Europe sucks is because of the insane amount of immigration that came to Western Europe. And all of that immigration is concentrated in the big cities. Right. So for example, like I constantly shit on Rome, like all of the immigration in Italy is in Rome, is in, this little pocket of and like it's one specific area of Rome where you go to as a tourist, right? And so that's why a lot of times like I'll make these takes about how bad immigration is in Europe, and people will come back to me and they'll be like, well, only 7% of the population of Italy is foreign born, which is not a real representative statistic because it's like, okay, but a lot of these people have kids and yada yada yada. But a lot of them are second generation. But even so, it's like, okay, 7%, that 7% is not evenly distributed throughout the country. That 7% is primarily in the big cities, Rome, Madrid, Paris. So once you leave those big cities and go to the smaller towns, you're gonna have a lot better of a time. One thing that me and my wife did, and this is one thing I highly recommend. Like if you're gonna live in Europe for a long time, and you're kind of forced to live in either a big city or a semi big city because of like internet and that type of stuff and like general infrastructure, what I recommend doing, what me and my wife did a lot, is we would like go to the train station and we would literally just buy a ticket to a random city. Like we would just like click randomly and just click on a random city and buy a ticket there. And then on the way to that city, literally on the train, we would get an Airbnb for like 4 days. And that was some of the best travel experiences that we've had in our lives. Was literally just looking up random cities and going there. So, once you leave the big cities in Europe, you're gonna have a way better time. Um, what country Latam is it easiest to get laid in? Um, Tier two cities. I've had a lot of videos about this, man. I'm not gonna rehash it right now. Um, how's Malta? I haven't been to Malta. I really want to go, but like one thing about Malta is it seems to be very overpriced. So that's the problem with Malta. Exactly. I was pissed in Singapore at the US at how backwards and trash our cities are. Dude, it's the worst part about going to Asia is just seeing the incredibly decrepit state that our cities are in and just being like, you know, how is this possible that we've allowed this to happen to us? Um, who is this guy? Oh, okay. Never mind. I haven't been to Sri Lanka. I've heard a lot that Sri Lanka is like way better than India. I don't really know that for sure. But yeah, you definitely need to go to the smaller cities for an Italian wife. Um, Bangladesh. Why would you want to go to Bangladesh? Are you trying to get like herpes or something? Like, I mean, I don't know herpes, but like, yeah, don't go to Bangladesh. Is Sicily decent? I've heard Sicily's pretty great. Abel Steez. Yeah, I guess so. Wow, no one's on this live today. I don't know why. All the other lives have been popping this week, but I guess, um is Puerto Rico going worth too? I've never been. I don't really know. I don't really think so. It's basically US prices. Anyway, yeah, dude, I did it before. It didn't do the trick. All right, I'm gonna restart the live one more time. We're gonna see if it does anything. If it doesn't, I'm just gonna like not do the live today. I'm sorry, guys. Like I'm not doing a live with 9 people. I'm kind of over that part of my career at this point. So I'll talk to you guys soon. I'm gonna end this live. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and come back in like 3 or 4 minutes. Yeah, dude. For some reason, um,